Patrick Gungba to jump it up against Carson Tout. Bill Covington Jr. will wait to put it in the air. And on the third try, Tout is denied. Tony Henderson, Tony Padilla, and the aforementioned Bill Covington. Tonight's officials, it's Duke ball to start. And the Blue Devils get an early touch for Gungba around Tout. Patrick Gungba, the 6'11 sophomore, starts the scoring.
And Tout giving away about 4 inches of size when you consider his height compared to Gungba underneath, and Gungba able to use that size advantage to score over the top in the first possession.
Notre Dame starting 5. Cole Serta, Braden Shrewsbury, the big shooters. Logan Imes runs the point with Brady Koehler and Carson Tout. Jalen Harrelson, leading scorer and assist man, out for a 3rd straight game with an ankle injury.
Oh, that was very close. I believe Dame Sarr went back to his international experience on that one, taking that off the rim as you see the Duke starting 5. Caleb Foster back at the point guard position.
Serta had the shot attempt, and Duke is whistled for a turnover on its 2nd possession. Notre Dame just 3-11 in ACC play this year. At the moment, they're 16th in the 18-team league, and only the top 15 make the conference tournament. So they need at least win, if not 2 in their Final Four to make it to Charlotte. Here's Shrewsbury, son of Micah Shrewsbury, the Irish head coach. Shrewsbury and Serta have been defended tightly so far, as we expect they'll be all day.
And how about the fact that John Shire going with Isaiah Evans to take on that matchup as Duke gets the shot clock violation, doing the job defensively. But on the previous possession, watch this shot by Cole Serta. Dame Sarr takes that off the rim. That should be 2 points in favor of the Irish. That ball is still above the basket before Sarr touched it. We know he has international experience before he came to Duke, and it's legal in FIBA rules, but not legal in the NCAA.
And Notre Dame cannot challenge that because there's not a whistle on the play. Boozer with a stuff on the dish from Gungba. First 4 for the Blue Devils right at the rim.
One of the things that Micah Shrewsbury talked to us about is Boozer gets to steal, where he averages 1.8 a game.
Coach Corey, 114 wins, only 24 losses.
Well, his athletic director, Nina King, was in the building with him earlier today, and I told her, you know, this guy's not too bad, meaning her hire as head coach in John Shire.
Koehler.
Micah Shrewsbury also going out there without his 2 most dominant and proficient guards scoring the basketball. You talk about Marcus Burton, who was injured 10 games into the season. And now Jalen Harrelson missing his 3rd straight game with an ankle injury. And when you consider these 2 guys combined average close to 35 points per game. So a huge loss for the Fighting Irish sitting in street clothes.
Micah said they're hoping to have Jalen Harrelson back Saturday. We talked to Jalen. He seems pretty optimistic as well from that ankle, but nobody here expects to see Marcus Burton until next year. Boozer, Gungba with a stop. A couple of Duke dunks for an early 8-2 lead.
But Cameron Boozer would not have been wrong for taking that shot, but he gave up a good shot for a great shot. Gungba gets the bucket underneath, but that's what these Blue Devils are about making the right play.
Koehler spins out his first 3-point attempt for Notre Dame. Previous one was not recorded because of the shot clock violation. So the Irish 0 for 2. Devils are 3 for 3. And Boozer is a freshman guard, will come off the bench, we imagine, shortly. And he's 3 for 4 at the line to start. 9-2 Duke advantage. Playing as the #1 team for the first time this year. Evans has been guarding Serta. Caleb Foster on Braden Shrewsbury. The 2 great shooters for Notre Dame have gotten no clean looks. Here's Shrewsbury. Try to get space on the Tout screen, and Foster went over it. Koehler, deep shot clock. Tough 2 is good.
Koehler's confidence is growing, and he continues to be a young man that can not only play off the bounce, but can shoot the 3 ball. And did Micah Shrewsbury get on one side and not on the other?
Here's Gungba off the inbound. The foul was on Imes as Gungba puts home another 2. He's got 6. Boozer's got 5, and Duke is owning the paint.
But such an advantage with Gungba, who has great touch around the rim, his ability to finish over top of the smaller defender in Tout.
Boozer knocks it away. It's off of Koehler. And Notre Dame.
So Not sure if Notre Dame is playing as confidently as such, but they don't want to continue to dig this hole deeper early in the game.
Boozer's on the bench for the first time. 20-4. Duke 11 straight for the Blue Devils. Shrewsbury rises over Boozer, short on a three, knocked out to Caden Boozer, a 6'4" freshman. He's been a very good point guard off the bench for Duke. No turnovers, 3 assists in the win over Michigan for Caden. Gungba, a man who can facilitate, gets it back from Sarr. Gungba strip, gets it back into the corner. Menya off the side of the backboard. Gungba tracks it down. The shot clock is not reset. There's 3 to go, and Boozer throws it right to Muhammad, who nearly lost it to Brown. Here's Koehler. And a little bump there as Sundra was going for the rebound. Amenya banged into him, and he picks up his first foul.
I really love Brady Koehler. I believe that he's going to be a star in this Notre Dame uniform. A young man who has tremendous confidence. Oftentimes, Michael Shrewsbury having to calm him down a bit. But I believe he has a chance. We had a chance to see Gungba and Sundra kind of playing a little hand tag over there earlier. 2 former teammates going at it. Sundra off the bounce finds Koehler in the corner, who's able to knock down the first 3 of the game for the Fighting Irish.
He has every one of Notre Dame's 7 points after scoring 7 in the last 2 games combined.
Notre Dame now going to the zone defensively.
How often do you expect him to do this?
I believe we'll see him do it a lot, especially when they can't control the Blue Devils getting in the painted area. And even though Boozer's able to get into the paint once again against the zone, they're unable to get a score. So a chance for the Fighting Irish to put together a couple positive offensive possessions.
Feels like you have to take everything you get when Cameron Boozer's off the floor tonight. Muhammad is fouled by Caden Boozer, his first and Duke's 4th.
Garrett Sundra going off the bounce, keeping Gungba on the perimeter. The drive and kick, Brady Koehler in the corner knocks down the 3 ball, and as you mentioned, all 7 points for Koehler.
Good shooter, 39% from 3. Notre Dame has several good shooters. Sundra took
in high school as well as in AAU, along with the guy at the free throw line, Garrett Sundra, who misses 2 at the free throw strike.
Sundra now 10 for 17 on the year. Cameron Boozer has returned for Duke, which has a 10-0 advantage in the paint and a 13-point advantage in the game. There's Isaiah Evans pulling up for 2. That flat shot knocked out of bounds by Amenya. Well, Micah Shrewsbury said, we're going to see how Duke guards Koehler and Braden Shrewsbury early in the game. Find out what they're doing. Get some information. What have you seen Duke do?
Well, one thing is neither of them really been able to get going. Koehler only has 1 field goal attempt, and that was the first possession offensively in the game where he should have got 2 points, but it was taken off the rim by Dame Sarr. And then Braden Shrewsbury has 2 field goal attempts, 1 for 3, but everything has been contested for both of those players. This is where they truly miss Jalen Harrison. I mean, we can't even mention Marcus Burton, all-ACC performer, but this is where they miss Jalen Harrison so much because he can get to the rim and create opportunities for his teammates.
Muhammad runs the point. Tout has subbed back into the game, and a tough pass by Muhammad is stolen. Here's Cameron Boozer, and Muhammad. UCF has a very good resume. If they win at BYU,
let's say
they could lose out, and they'd probably still get a bid.
I doubt it. Not if they lose out.
UCF has good net, good lob, wins above bubble. Win at BYU would be a great quad 1 win.
I agree.
But
losing out will not help them get in the tournament.
I'm not saying it would help. Here's a bucket by Koehler. Of course it's Koehler. He has every one of Notre Dame's 9 points.
And one of the things about Koehler, he is not scared. Fearless, attacking the basket, tremendous competitor, and continues to be confident.
Amenya with a wide open 3. Just kidding.
He
stepped out of bounds.
The most common turnover in the game of basketball. Players normally with big feet standing in the corner, but this is a guy with big feet standing in the corner that has great footwork and is able to attack off the bounce, beating Boozer off the dribble.
5 turnovers now for Duke, 5 apiece in the game. Shrewsbury runs into a 2, and Evans has the rebound. Shrewsbury still yet to score, and nobody scored besides Koehler for the Irish. Boozer, Evans, Amenya is inbounds this time. In the corner, Caden Boozer. Beautiful ball movement. It felt like it deserved a basket, but Shrewsbury has it for the Irish.
But without Gungbo on the floor, it's been a little better for the Irish, finishing plays defensively. And Koehler, Brady Shrewsbury, both great shooters, continue to shoot these floaters. I'm not sure why. And speaking of great shooters, Isaiah Evans does it the right way from 3 and is able to knock it down and increase the lead to 16 for the Blue Devils.
Shrewsbury guarded by Caden Boozer. Brown switches on. Now the double team after the hard head. Shrewsbury's in a world of trouble, and Serta bailed him out. Brown comes again, and this time Brown is called for a foul.
To see the Blue Devils in their trip to South Bend, they actually played one of the most watched games on TV this year in Chicago when they went up against Arkansas. No, 35-point performance for Cameron Boozer.
Well, he's got 11 right now. He's the first player in double figures. In fact, he's got as many points as the entire Notre Dame team.
And he's the first Blue Devil freshman to ever have multiple 35-point games in a season. And if he keeps up at this pace, he might get a third.
Muhammad. Carson Tout, great rebounder, not a big scorer, feeds Serta. That's a tough shot, contested well by Evans. Boozer 3. Bangs it home. Boozer with 14 in the opening, not even 11.5 minutes.
Well, for the record, in case anyone was wondering, it was last year against Notre Dame that Cooper Flagg broke the freshman scoring record in the ACC. Now, the record has since been broken by Michael Brown at Louisville, who scored 45 against NC State earlier this year, as Koehler is able to knock down his first bucket of the game.
So Serta, who had the free throws, has the first field goal for anybody other than Koehler. Koehler has 9, Serta has 5, and the lead is back to 16 for Duke. Evans with a 3. Got it! Evans got a screen from Amenya and a feed from Boozer.
Evans doesn't need much space at all, and I think people realize that he's 6'7", so his ability to raise up over top of defenders is elite.
Duke is 4 for 6 from 3. Notre Dame 2 for 8. Serta against Cameron Boozer, great defender. Serta, Muhammad, back to Serta in the corner. That wouldn't go. Tout has the rebound, missed the dunk. After he might have aided it.
Don't back them up and can't complement that. It's going to be a struggle. The Blue Devils have great big defenders in Malik Brown, Cameron Boozer, and Patrick Gumba that allow them to be a great defensive team.
I mean, they are moving the ball before it's barely in their fingers. Another offensive rebound for Cameron. Evans. Offensive rebound, Darren Harris, who goes up and gets fouled.
And to Coach Greenberg's point, this is a game where Jon Scheyer can try to establish something with Darren Harris. Darren didn't play in the game against Michigan. He's played in all but 2 games this season. And now making a layup early, getting to the free throw line, these are the type of things that can establish some confidence with Darren Harris.
Might be thrust into more action, and it's pretty good when your 9th guy was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Virginia just 2 years ago.
Yes, especially when you consider the talent that was in the state of Virginia at the time.
A couple of them are here. Shrewsbury, no. And Boozer's got rebound number 9. The Devils are shooting 48% from the field, 15 of 16 at the line, and
off the floor.
You saw it there. Shrewsbury coaching with a boot on his left foot. With his team down 30 as Tout missed the free throw. Fouls, by the way, were on Gungba, his 3rd, and Evans, his 2nd. Cameron Boozer with a dominant first half will miss it. Well contested by Tout.
Great job by Tout going up and challenging that. Tout, of course, not afraid of contact, so much so that he has hired a football agent. So Carson Tout, after this season, will be hanging up his hoop sneakers for some cleats and attacking the gridiron.
Evans is fouled by Tout.
Added this year in NCAA basketball, he gets 2 free throws. Last year, that would have been taken out on the side.
What do you think, Corey, his NBA profile looks like?
It's going to look just like it will in college. He's going to do the exact same thing for 15 years in the NBA that he's doing now. Simply because he's skilled enough to get it done.
Logan Imes with a 3 for the Irish.
And he has the will to get it done. The Irish going to need many more of those throughout this game if they want to make it a game trying to get back into this. But the Blue Devils still leading by 31.
Boozer sets up Sorrow at 8 in the first half. Pocket pass Gungba. Evans from Foster will drive it. Gets cut off. Back for Dame Sung. In the corner, Evans is short. Rebounded by Braden Shrewsbury. Still yet to score. Notre Dame's second leading scorer. With Jalen Harrelson injured, the leading scorer on the active roster today. Serta had a first half 11. And Tout got in.
I don't believe John Shire will complain about it with a 31-point lead.
You noted that Tout was favored his left leg. He walked off the floor. Garrett Sundra replaces him. Imes turns it over. Ping pongs out to Sarr. On the break. 1-on-3. On the kick. Foster. No. Boozer. Yes. Just stole it from Shrewsbury.
Well, Shrewsbury's not going to have much of a chance, and a good athlete, but going up against 6'9", 250 pounds, Boozer's strength allows him to move Shrewsbury right out of the way without using his hands.
12 rebounds, 24 points for Cam Boozer, the National Player of the Year to be. Here's Serta. There are blue jerseys everywhere as Imes misses a 3. And Boozer's got rebound number 13.
How do you say that with such certainty?
National Player of the Year to be?
Yes.
You looked at his stats?
I have.
You don't think if Cameron Boozer didn't play after today, if he just decided I'm done, he would? You don't think he would win National Player of the Year?
I could tell you for 100% fact, if he said I'm done, he would not win National Player of the Year.
What if he got hurt? Which we don't want. Let's say this.
I don't want to talk about that.
20 starts. Does he win National Player? He's done enough already. You think?
I
think he has.
I think he has to finish the season.
All right.
But I don't want to talk about that.
I'm not rooting for him. But I'll say he's National Player of the Year to be.
I believe that he's the National Player of the Year front runner. But there's still a significant amount of time to be played in this college basketball season.
Sarr is fouled.
Not just Coach Shire, but also Coach Krzyzewski, Nina King, the athletic director for Duke, who's in the building today. But the way that they went about the transition, where John was the coach and waiting for a full year, was able to recruit the players to have the next season, and how to where we've seen other places where you have the guy that has to follow the guy, and whether that's Hubert Davis at North Carolina having to follow Roy Williams, whether that's Adrian Autry having to follow Jim Boeheim, you know, multiple times. Michael Shrewsbury having to follow Mike Gray.
Sure.
You know, I mean, the all-time wins leader as a coach here at Notre Dame, as Caleb Foster throws in another 3. And we talked about shooting being an issue for the Blue Devils. Darren Harris, Caleb Foster, a number of guys have started to get some quality looks and knocking them down, building more confidence as the season goes along.
They're 11 of 26 from 3. Cole Serta's miss means Notre Dame is 4 for 19. Figured if Notre Dame had any shot, those numbers would have to be reversed. Boozer inside for 2. Caden Boozer with 2 buckets. Remember when Mike Krzyzewski announced he was retiring and spent the full season? Because it's Duke. Everything Duke does either side.
And the only thing that I didn't like about that is Coach K doesn't have to explain himself to anybody. When you've got 1,200 wins, you can do whatever you want to do in the fashion that you want. You deserve that. And I believe they pulled it off perfectly. Part of the reason why John Shire's been able to be so successful in his first 4 seasons as a head coach.
Sir Muhammad with a 3 for Notre Dame. 78-39. Foster up into double figures now for Duke. Foster, Evans, and Harris along with Cameron Boozer. 4 double-figure scorers for the Blue Devils. Gungba, that was kicked by Muhammad. What is John Shire trying to get out of the final 10-18 of this game, besides no injuries?
Well, when you look at this roster, there aren't many players that you can put in for what is often looked at as garbage minutes. So you'll get more opportunities for Caleb Foster to be aggressive on the offensive end as he attacks the basket and is able to finish. You'll get more time for Darren Harris, Dame Sarr to get looks. Sarr's knocked down 2 threes in this game. So there's nothing that you can replace real game action with. And so John Shire will use this game action to work on some things that he feels can help his team moving forward this season.
Times for Notre Dame, which in its last home game last week scored 89 at a 15-point win over Georgia Tech. Serta no good from 3. Obviously, they've gone from Georgia Tech at the very bottom of the league to Duke at the top.
Well, the Blue Devils allow 63. Oh, you already knew it.
I did not look at that.
Yeah, Florida State.
87 for Florida State.
The 87 for Florida State. Now, I believe Tennessee did score 89 in the exhibition game. But other than that, the Blue Devils have absolutely been lights out on the defensive end. And now they're playing some zones. So these are the part of things, the experiments that Coach Shire can do. Duke with a 3-2 zone that morphs into a man-to-man on that possession.
It leads to a foul line extended jumper for Koehler. Muhammad, often that can happen against the zone. You're more susceptible to rebounds.
If it was a zone, it really could have been man-to-man with them just heavily in the gaps on that possession.
Just try boxing one out, just throw some stuff out there.
Again, who's the one?
I don't know.
That's the point. Nice foul.
Gungba almost had Sarr. You ever heard of a diamond in one defense?
Yes, I've definitely heard of a diamond in one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought I invented that.
No, you did not.
Media Cup 2011. WERFM shut down Tony Olivero in a 19-point win over the Daily Orange. Gungba is fouled by Mohamed Easter.
Pistons coming off a loss to the San Antonio Spurs last night. Jay Cunningham 5 of 26 from the field, and the Spurs a true contender. The Spurs with 5 wins against the top 2 teams, as you mentioned right now, the #1 seeds in the NBA. 4 wins against OKC and 1 against Detroit last night, as Michael Shrewsbury, a former assistant coach for the Boston Celtics.
I wonder if one of his proteges in Boston is watching the game. I imagine he is. Jason Tatum, who is the chief basketball officer at Duke, as Patrick Gumba slams home another 2, gets into double figures, the 5th Blue Devil to do so.
Yes, this is a zone. Okay, my eyes were not deceiving me. The 3 across the front, John Shire experimenting with some zone in this game, but it's been the Fighting Irish having success against it. Offensive rebound put back on the first possession, and then the jump hook in the middle. So I'm sure that this zone will need a little more work for Coach Shire.
Coach's dream. You win big and you have some stuff to work on. Hamenya, Gungba, double team, and Gungba travel is up by 44. Patrick Gungba to the bench. Memphis State was the other team in 1985.
Not Memphis.
Not Memphis.
But Memphis State, that's right. As a matter of fact, when Penny Hardaway was playing there, they still were Memphis State. Another great steal by Malik Brown, showing he may need to play some football, showing off that type of range. Catch radius.
Blue Devils free safety as Koehler tips it into Matt McClellan, getting some run here for Notre Dame.
Okay, so I have this next question. You see the promo pop up. We've got Baylor and Arizona.
Yes.
And then you've got UCF and BYU. Are you saying that if Baylor gets this win against the #2 team in the country, as Cole Serta is able to knock down the 3 ball, would Baylor be in the NCAA tournament?
They wouldn't be that close.
Okay.
They're only considered right now.
Okay.
They would need a lot more.
Just check it, see how much homework you've done.
But a win over Arizona would be nice. Cincinnati has moved into the considered range. They are on ESPN2 right now at JT Toppinless Texas Tech. Texas Tech did blow out Kansas State Saturday. Harris with a putback try, no. And a rebound to McClellan. NAIA transfer from NAIA Madonna. Getting some run here in South Bend. All the injuries Notre Dame has had. Keba Jai, backup big, is done for the year. Marcus Burton. They haven't officially ruled him out for the year, but Micah Shrewsbury has all but ruled him out for the year, and it appeared will try to get a red shirt for Marcus Burton, who only played 10 games, as McClellan out of Canton, Michigan, puts in the 2.
And Burton is just now getting back to starting to do basketball activities. And with Notre Dame not yet a lock to make it into the ACC tournament, it would make absolutely no sense to bring Burton back to end this season.
Amenya puts it for 90 for the Blue Devils. A dozen threes for Duke. What a thorough thumping this has been. Oh, a year ago, these teams played in Cameron. Notre Dame only lost by 8. It was the second closest game Duke had at home all year.
And how many points did Marcus Burton have in that game?
More than he has tonight, right, or Frost?
Well, I mean, when you look at this Notre Dame team, though, I mean, you've got their 2 biggest difference makers sitting in street club.
This is a team that going into late December reasonably looked like a much improved team. Well, maybe a team that could contend for the bubble. Burton gets hurt against TCU, that broken left ankle December 5th. And it's pretty much all spiraled from there. They're 5-12 without him, the first team All-ACC player. Here's Harris soaring in for 2.
But how about Jack Scott with the steal and the assist, getting his first action in quite some time.
Jack Scott, Cameron Sheffield have come in off the deep bench for Duke. Brody Stevens is in for Notre Dame as well, as McClellan's got another bucket. It's pretty cool. A kid who had played at Madonna University. You know where Madonna University is?
I have zero clue.
Livonia, Michigan. 14.5 points per game last year. He visited Notre Dame. First regiment. 64-8 was the final score.
Why are you getting so excited?
29th, 1898.
Why are you getting so excited?
Who is the Chicago 1st Regiment?
Apparently they had some hoopers on their squad.
And what was their net ranking? Aspiring minds want to know.
Well, I can tell you that this most likely will be the largest loss in this building, which opened in 1968, because the largest loss to date is 39 points to a 5th-ranked Kentucky team on February the 12th, 1995. And so right now, down 46, the Blue Devils may end up walking away with not the largest home loss in Notre Dame history, but the largest loss in the Purcell Pavilion.
Koehler with a 3. No good. I tell you what, the members of Chicago 1st Regiment are rolling over in their graves right now. They're in a little trouble here. Scott, Caden Boozer. What do you think the mascot was of Chicago 1st Regiment?
I'm not getting into that with you.
Notre Dame that season went 1-2. They had a much better defensive effort in their next game. They lost 19-13 to the Chicago Clybournes, but like any team wants to do, they bounced back and they took down Rush Medical College 16-13, thrown right into the limelight after losing the back-to-back Chicago games.
Defensive battle, 16-13.
That's right. Whoa! Scott going over the top.
I would not do. That would be my answer to that.
It would be self-eliminated.
Yeah, exactly.
Duke looking for 100 here. 4 points away. Amenya. Harris. Amenya with another offensive rebound. Duke's got 14 of those. Boozer misses a 3. John Shire with a win tonight would become the first head coach in ACC history with a 40-point win, which is even some doubt, with 2 40-point road wins in the ACC. They won by 43 at Georgia Tech 3 years ago, and the lead is 41 now.
Well, this hasn't been a league where you see much of that, as Boozer's able to get the bucket to go, even though I believe it was one of the hands of a Notre Dame player that tapped that basketball in. You know, Cameron Boozer, Caden Boozer, Nicholas Amenya, and Dame Sarr. That is to be done. They have to watch a documentary, so they do not get off the hook. They just don't have to show up at class tomorrow.
All right. So an easy day for History of Hip Hop.
Yeah.
A menu. What's the documentary, you know?
That part I did not get.
Boozer on the deck. Both teams still scrapping for loose ball and 44 seconds to go.
Uh-oh. Is this 100?
Harris. Oh! Fouled by Koehler, and Koehler went right over to him to